Hello, and welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, all of the guidance you need to get through a divorce. Because as we know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. We are here with one of our amazing fresh starts experts, Lisa. Lisa, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. It is great to see you again. So, I am a narcissistic abuse recovery coach, a divorce coach, a trauma coach, and a former therapist. And I work with clients leaving toxic relationships with narcissistic tendencies or with full blown narcissists. And I work with women in all stages of divorce, whether they're contemplating divorce, whether they're in the thick of it, or maybe they're even at the end of their divorce trying to figure out where to go from here. We navigate the court system, we navigate the narcissist. I'm a little bit of a narcissist whisperer at this point, and we get you through your divorce with the most positive impact, with the most positive results possible, the least negative impact. But more importantly, we get you onto your new life. We get you to your fresh start.
I first of all would have paid $1 million trillion to have you during my divorce. So I understand why you're booked up because it is so necessary to have somebody to support you. Let's talk about, before we get into the strategies for kind of getting through the divorce, let's talk about narcissism. Okay. There's a
Yes.
lot of misconceptions about narcissism, but there's narcissistic tendencies, which you mentioned, right? But then there's also like full blown narcissistic personality disorder, which I am now an expert in as well, Lisa. So, can you just tell us a little bit about the difference between the tendencies versus dealing with somebody that actually has a narcissistic personality disorder?
Well, I'm gonna say that it's hard to know the difference right away. There's like you can go online and you can Google the tendencies of narcissism, but the biggest thing I can say to that point is that most people who have a narcissistic personality disorder never get diagnosed because the one thing a narcissist never thinks is that there's something wrong with them or that is their fault.
Mhm,
So they
mhm.
don't seek help. They don't seek counseling. They don't get a diagnosis because they think they're fabulous and it's everyone else's problem. So I do think that narcissists and narcissism has become a bit of a buzzword.
Mhm.
And I think there's 2 reasons. One, it's just become a buzzword, and
Yeah.
2, because there are a lot of toxic people out there and people are starting to be more vocal and talk about it.
Interesting. So what are some signs that you might be dealing with somebody that is a narcissistic person through your divorce?
So I would say because there's actually 7 different types of narcissists. There's a grandiose narcissist, which we often think of when the word narcissist comes up, where they're like have a bigger than life
Right.
personality, they're driving the flashy car, everything's about them. But there's also a covert narcissist,
Yes.
which is very manipulative and they tend to be a little odd and on the quieter side.
Mhm.
And there's like a whole plethora in between those types.
Yeah.
But I would say if you start to ask yourself, am I crazy? Is this really
Mhm.
happening? You feel like you're walking on eggshells. You start to Google things. Like, I know I always found myself like Googling, am I crazy? Is this a
Yep.
toxic relationship? Is he a narcissist? Is he cheating? They tend to have addiction issues, whether it's drugs or
Mhm.
alcohol or porn. Um, when you really just start to question your own sanity because things don't seem quite right,
Yeah.
or you find yourself telling yourself the stories or other people the stories over and over and over again in a rumination type of way, it's you
Yeah.
trying to make sense of it. And if you're trying that hard to make sense of a relationship, there's something not good going on there.
Yeah. I've done a lot of work around covert narcissism. I have a lot of experience there. A couple of things. One is, with the grandiose narcissist, I like to compare it to like Gaston, right, from Beauty and the Beast,
Yes.
right? Whereas a covert narcissist is more like our friend Hans from Frozen. That's how
Mhm.
I describe him a
I
lot,
love
right? He mirrored, right? He kind of filled in they finished each other's sandwiches, right? Or sentences, right? Whatever it
Yes.
was, and then he completely turned on her, right? And he ultimately was down to destroy her. So, with with narcissism too, I think, and maybe I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my experience, often a woman, I'm going to say, from my, because this is just me speaking, falls into a relationship with a narcissist because they grew up with
Mhm.
somebody that is often showing the same tendencies. So for them, the love bombing, the all of this stuff feels very natural, right? Because it's something that they're not seeing the red flags as red flags, they're seeing them as love.
Exactly. It almost feels better to you and your nervous system because our brain likes consistency and patterns.
Mm,
So often, if you find somebody that's like what you would consider more of a healthy person in a healthy relationship and that feels
yeah.
triggering to you, that's a really good sign you've been in a relationship. A
Mm,
narcissist will find your core wounds. So if you
yeah.
were raised by a toxic parent, a narcissist, which it sounds like we both were,
Mhm.
hopefully my parents aren't listening to this.
Same.
So, but when we are raised in
Yeah.
that environment, of course, we have core wounds of not being worthy, not being good enough, whatever your core wounds are. A narcissist has this uncanny ability to sniff out your core wounds and find a way to fill them through love bombing, which
Mhm.
makes you feel like they're everything you ever wanted.
Yeah.
They make you feel amazing. You get that like dopamine high at the beginning of the relationship, all love bombing. And then it goes into the cycle of narcissism with the devaluing,
Yep.
with the discard, and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and they really, like you said, they find your core wounds, and so they end up using you to almost kill yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's really scary, and this is what I'll say from my experience is that it's so hard to describe what's happening to other people, right? And they
Hard.
know that. Now, from what I've seen, and I actually figured out what was happening because of TikTok, because I would watch TikTok videos
Yes.
about covert narcissists, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what's happening to me." And I was out of the marriage at that point. But then, like you said, you work with a lot of people who are at the end of their divorce because you often get there and that's when the healing can begin.
Yes.
Um, but what I was going to say too is that, like, so much of narcissism is that devaluing that you don't even know what's happening in your life. And so I would imagine a lot of your clients come to you kind of at ground zero, right? They just like, they don't even know where to begin again.
Exactly. They're whether it's the beginning, wherever they are in their divorce, or sometimes they're just leaving a relationship, they don't know
Yeah.
what to do. They've become like a shell. I was there. You're a shell of who
Yeah.
you were. You're
Yeah.
scared of the world. You're stuck in rumination, but you're also weirdly tied to this person. Like one day you want to leave, the next day you want to
Yeah.
stay. One day you hate them, the next day you feel bad for them. That is a good indication that you're in a very toxic relationship
Mm,
is if you feel addicted to this person, like
mm,
even though you know they're terrible for you, you still can't bring yourself to leave. And in some ways you don't want to leave, or
yeah.
you're stuck in like the thought process, even if
Yeah.
you have left. So yes, they come to me exhausted, tired, literally depleted, beaten
Yeah.
down in every way, shape, and possible.
Yeah.
And we build them up. We find their path. We find their empowerment. We build their new life, all while dealing with a storm of God knows what that's coming through the
Mhm.
divorce.
Mhm.
And typically, when you're going through this process, people don't understand. Your family doesn't understand. Your friends don't understand. And for lack of a better word, it becomes kind of annoying to them to listen to. So I'm the
Mm.
person that kind of comes in, I become your divorce BFF,
Yep.
and we just go through it arm in arm together. I have seen it all. I
Mhm.
have probably been through most of it all. So
Mhm.
we muddle through, we
Yeah.
get through it. You call me instead of your friends when they're blowing up your phone, and we
Yep.
just get you on to the next chapter. The whole goal is to get you through it, help you heal, and get on with your life and away from
Yeah.
this ding dong.
Ding dong is a great word.
Yeah,
So,
like
Lisa, but let's talk about the divorce process specifically because it can be frightening to divorce a narcissist, like truly frightening. Because not only do you feel like you're at the lowest you've ever been, right? But
mhm,
they are word salading you all over the place. They're telling their lawyer one thing, and you know that's not the truth. So much of a narcissist lives in this like other reality, right? So, how
mhm.
the heck? Let's talk about some strategies to get through a
Yes.
divorce with a narcissist. How do you do it, Lisa?
There is It's totally doable, and I am gonna give you first thing, my first tip I like to tell people is really listen to what they're saying. If they're accusing you of cheating, of stealing marital funds, of clearing out bank accounts, I've heard a million different things, but
Yeah.
pay very close attention to what they tell you that you're doing and what they were accusing you of. Sometimes you have to look a little in between the lines because whatever they're accusing you of, there's a 99.999% chance that that's where that is what they're doing, or they're doing something very similar. So pay very close attention.
Yeah, there's a phrase there, right? When they it's the accusation, it's actually an accusation. What is it? When they accuse you, it's actually an accusation of what they're
Yeah, they're
doing,
admitting,
right?
like, their
Right. An admission,
accusation
right?
and
Accusation is
admitting.
admission. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Accusation is
exactly.
admission. Yes.
So that's super important to pay close attention
So
to, and
listen to that, folks. Rewind that and listen to what Lisa said
I
once again.
whatever they say, I mean, whatever they say that you're doing, they're doing in
Yep.
some way, shape, or form. That is your first clue because you're going to be able to build a strategy with a professional based on knowing how their brain is thinking and what they're doing.
And I love that you said strategy because it is a strategy, and probably you know them better than anybody, but you
Yes.
need a professional to help you build out a plan. You do not want to wing it with a narcissist through divorce.
You don't want to wing it because you need somebody who does like what I do to help you build a strategy, who knows what they're going to do, because now we have a poker game. It's not a
Yeah.
typical divorce. It's not going to be easy breezy. I would say that's one of the other big pieces of advice going into this. No, it's not going to be easy. No,
Yeah.
you're going to get out of it. You are going to have that fresh start, but it's not going to be fun and it's not going to be easy, but you're also not going to feel this way forever. So you almost
Mm,
need to prepare yourself emotionally and
yeah.
mentally for battle.
Mm, yeah. I think that's really important. And you know, it's an admission that we don't want to make, right? Because
Mhm.
especially as a parent, you're like, I'm already doing so much stuff. But I think it's important sometimes to like lean into the truth of what is happening in that current time, and then also have the support. I mean, this is we literally built Fresh Start so people could come to find people like you, Lisa, and say like, I'm going through this divorce, I need the support, right? So okay, one more strategy. So what's one more thing you would tell people?
Let me see. I'm trying to pick. I'm gonna give you prepare. I have to
Okay.
prepare.
Just 2 is
Fine
great.
before you get started, before there's even like a whisper of divorce. First of all, don't tell anybody because you don't know who's gonna tell
Yeah.
who's gonna tell who,
Yep.
and they have a good way of manipulating people. So kind of keep it to yourself, keep it up to under wraps. Find a therapist or a coach immediately to help you. Prepare yourself emotionally first, mentally, and then start to reach out to attorneys. Even if you think you can do it on your own, or maybe do it in a more inexpensive way and
Yeah.
mediate, I highly advise you don't. I
Yep.
highly advise there's always a way to figure out how to pay for this. I can help you with that too. Get
Mm.
an attorney and
Mhm.
talk to at least 3 attorneys and make sure they understand toxic relationships,
Mm.
narcissistic abuse, and coercive control. The
Mhm.
other narcissists are very sneaky. They like to hide money. They like to hide important papers. So before they even have an inkling that this divorce is going to happen, you also want to kind of like leading up to
Yeah.
this, kind of pretend everything's okay. Like don't give them any indication that you're getting ready to file or split or that you know what they're doing. Start to collect any information you can. I tell my clients, get any financial documents you can get your hands on that have a number on them.
Mm.
Dig, find anything you can get that has to do with your finances. Find it, make copies of it, hide it, leave it at a friend's
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
Then you also want to make copies of your birth certificate, your children's birth certificates, passports, any important documents that you need. There's a good chance you're going to take them and they're going to hide them. Not sure if this is super legal or not. So, disclaimer,
Okay.
but I
Disclaimer.
always tell clients just to be on the safe side because I've seen a few scary things happen. If your children have passports, put them in a safety deposit box, give them to your attorney if you have one, or leave them with a family friend.
I don't think that's illegal. You're not hiding. You're just putting them in a safe deposit box.
Yeah, just get them out of that house because you just don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've just seen some strange things happen, so
You could let them expire like I did for my kids, and then
let them expire, and then you need both parents
mostly it's just
to
because
yeah,
I didn't get it done in time, but yeah, exactly, you do need both parents to sign off on that. Yeah.
yes. So those are prepare, 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 and when you think you're prepared, like, do your checklist and prepare again. You can email me. I will send to you some template. Just shoot me an email, and I have templates to help
Yeah.
you get ready for all the information you need, all the financial information you need, all the stuff you're going to need for your financial affidavits. I am happy to send those along. Just shoot me an email because anything you can do to prepare yourself, knowledge is power.
I'm literally getting chills talking to you, Lisa, because I just think that there's so many women, especially out there, and men, but a lot of women
Mhm.
who are listening to this going, that's the marriage I'm in. And now
Yeah.
I'm scared shitless and I don't know what to do. And so, like, I just need to reiterate, you can find Lisa at Fresh Starts. She will be there to support you. And you also not only have we have a million wonderful Fresh Starts experts who Lisa works with in conjunction, but
Yeah.
I think it's just so overwhelming. And so a lot, I think that the statistic is women consider divorce for about 2 years, right, before they
Mhm.
actually ask for the divorce. While you're in that consideration phase, reach out to Lisa. And Lisa, I know from working with you that you are so diligent about people's safety. That is
Yes.
paramount to you, paramount. And so if you're afraid of reaching out to Lisa, she will literally just have you in your phone as her friend, right? And then that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Put you in your phone as my friend. Sometimes have clients create a separate, like, email address.
Mm,
Sometimes have clients get burner phones. We have
yeah.
so many ways to help keep you safe. That is the most important, is to keep you safe, keep your information safe.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have never have my clients follow me on social media, which sounds
Mhm.
strange,
No,
but
it's
if
smart.
you are a client of mine and I have forgotten to tell you this and you're listening, do not
Don't
follow me on
follow.
social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah.
because we do not wanna connect you to me in any way.
Yeah. Smart. It's smart. I mean, I think because you've been through it, Lisa, because you understand the process, because you've worked with hundreds of people in literally, like you said, you've heard every single story. You know exactly how to handle this. And when you are going through a divorce and you feel weak, you really need somebody who's strong that can lift you up through that process. So, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they would like to get in touch with you, obviously your links are in the show notes. What's the best way to do that? Email you? How should people get in touch with you?
Email me. You can email me right from our website, lisahapp.com. You can reach out through social media. I don't wanna leave my phone number on the podcast
No,
based on
no.
what I do, but if you find Olivia and you reach out to her,
Yep.
she will give you my number and you can
Yeah.
text me.
100%. You can always DM me also, and we will connect you to Lisa. Um, I just adore you, Lisa, and your passion for supporting people through this is just so clear, and we're just so grateful that you're part of Fresh Starts and everything that you do.
I am so
Um,
grateful for Fresh Starts. You guys spend so much time helping so many people who are lost, whether it's grief, whether it's divorce, whether it's business, whatever it is, you guys are there for it. So thank
well, we
you.
appreciate that. We appreciate that. It's our passion as it is yours. Okay,
Mhm.
so if somebody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce, Lisa, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave them with?
I am going to leave you with two things. My friend said it to me when I was leaving a very toxic relationship, and I was so pissed at her at the time, but she was right. She said, "What you're not changing, you're choosing." And I was like so mad at her. But then looking back, that was a piece of advice that made me make the steps to change and to get out. There's always a little step you can take, even if you're not ready to make that big jump. There's certain things you can start to do. The biggest thing I can leave you with is divorce is scary, divorce sucks, but it's not gonna feel this way forever. I promise you there's an end. I promise you there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm gonna say it again. You will not feel this way forever. I promise.
Mm, so good to end that way. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Lisa, you can go find her info in the show notes and at Fresh Starts Registry. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.